Let's uh let's talk about the employers for a change. First, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. VBSenate.com, that's my campaign website. Yes, I'm running against Senator Cornyn and Attorney General Ken Paxton. Something tells me everything that I'm trying to do is impossible. Well, it probably is. But if I don't carry that flag over the hill, are you going to carry it over the hill? Somebody needs to. Should it be an old 67-year-old man like me? But hey, it is what it is. One way or another, we're going to try and take care of Americans and Texans in Texas. Because I believe their families are dependent on them to bring home the bacon and make a living. To raise them the same way we were raised. vbeers@gmail.com. You can contact me there. My website's guestworkervisas.com. You can text me at 325-215-1886. Don't call me. I won't answer it. Let's get back to the employers. You'll hear many versions. The children will say it's the boomers. Well, I think I'm in that boomer category, and I guarantee you I didn't have nothing to do with putting me out of work. So you can forget about that right away. There's basically two types of jobs in America. There's the everyday street type job. You're not working for a large corporation. It's a typical job. You're either working for maybe a mechanic shop or electrical shop or a plumbing shop or a convenience store or a grocery store, something along those lines. Uh, Maybe you're working as a waitress or waiter at a restaurant, cafe, but it's basically along those lines. Filling station, whatever you want to call it. Unless they've worked for corporate America before, they probably don't have no clue what's going on with this H-1B stuff. They just know their prices are getting higher every day, and their wages ain't going up, and they're struggling to pay their rent and their utilities, let alone have a little mad money for a beer or cigarettes or take the kids out to dinner or buy some new shoes for the kids, whatever. That's one segment of the American workforce. The other segment is working for the corporations. Nowadays, if you want to buy a house or even rent a house, you almost have to have a corporation salary. Not the $10 or $15 an hour, maybe $20 an hour you're getting on the street, but the 25, 30, 55, $100 an hour that you get from these large corporations and large government agencies. You need that kind of money to buy a house nowadays. Average house run around $450,000. You can't pay for that making $10 or $20 an hour. Hell, you can barely afford to keep the electricity on. And property taxes, they're through the roof. So you got to have that corporation job if you want to build a thriving and prosperous future for your family. There's no way around it. But what's happening? Those large corporations are sending their jobs overseas. In the case of that Michael Moritz dumbass the other day that spoke out for the Silicon Valley's wealthy elite, says none of us are good for anything other than washing dishes. Well, I just see this old country boy like me and seeing red and like a bull in a china closet. I just want to find some way to make him pay for those words by taking his money away. But I can't do that. Not as an average everyday citizen. I'll guarantee if I was a senator that he would be called in to testify in front of us. I'd find some way, come hell or high water. Make that scorpion little weasel's ass come to Washington, D.C. and talk to me and tell that to me to my face. But let's get back to the employers. You would think the difference between an employer and a large corporation sending jobs overseas would be different than a mom and pop. Yet I've seen plenty of examples of churches, non-profits, importing non-immigrant guest workers on visas like the H-1B. Just as I've seen the corporate executives doing the same thing. What type of greed or whatever makes an individual do that to his own fellow countrymen, men and women, citizens? It's your fellow citizens you're doing it to. They stood by and watched as you worked your way up the ladder, and you did good, and they were proud of you. But now you're pulling the ladder up behind you and say, you can't do that no more. That's no more. Y'all not good enough to be anything but dishwashers. Well, bullshit on that. And that small mom and pop type church, God, I thought you were supposed to be the what's the word, epitome of taking care of your fellow citizens. And here you are depriving them of work that they need to provide for their families with? You're a sorry son of a bitch. I mean, I can't make it no simpler than that. But those employers, they couldn't do what they do if it wasn't for the politicians at the Senate and Congress and White House that make it possible for them to do this. Folks, you're supposed to be the leaders of our country. The ones that stand up tall and proud to represent us all over the world. Represent us, the American citizen. And here you are selling us out. You're the sorriest son of a bitch of them all. I mean, you can't make this stuff any simpler. There's only one thing I can see that we can do. Well, there's several things. We could back them in the corner, the same as they've done us, line them against the Great Wall of China and give everybody a baseball and say, go talk to them. There's 1 million or 2 of them, and there's 300 million of us. Have a conversation, a polite one, please. Or we can name them and shame them. We can take their name like Michael Moritz and say this is the type of person that is depriving of Americans of jobs in America. And he's using his money to do it. So how do we combat that? Well, we take his money away. Seize his assets. Then we banish them to North Korea. We do it all legally, of course. How do we do that? We get people in the Senate and Congress to make the laws that charge them with treason. Because that's all they're doing is pure ass treason as far as I'm concerned. So far, though, we don't seem to have the political fortitude to do such a thing. But I've been watching this for 22 years, and it's heating it up more this year than I've ever seen it heat up before. I can guarantee you one thing. It's going to keep heating it up. Because it's like that Nick Hanna guy wrote Where Are the Pitchforks? It's like Luigi Mangione, whatever his name was, shooting that CEO. It's like Marie Antoinette having her head chopped off. These are all history repeating itself. I don't want to see us go there. That's why I'm trying to work my way in the Senate so I can find a way around this nonsense. But if I don't succeed, and you're not doing anything to make it different, it's going to keep heating up. Growing worse day by day. And none of the politicians and none of the employers are going to let their greed get in the way of having them becoming an upstanding citizen. Because in their mind, they're patriots. They're doing what's best for their country. Well, destroying your fellow citizens is not best for our country. no matter how you look at it. So you really need to take a hard look at a mirror and talk to yourself and say, am I doing right for my country and my fellow citizens? Or am I just doing right for me? If you're just doing right for yourself, you're on the wrong side, folks. Anyway, enough of that. I've had my say. I'm trying to get people to understand, to wake up, see what's going on. Because if I don't succeed, I see it getting worse and worse and worse. Might not happen this year, might not happen next year, it might take 5 or 10 years, it might happen tomorrow. I don't know. But something's going to happen, something's got to give. Thank you.